And the insurance, State Farm, I will say that, State Farm wanted us to cut corners on that repair.
The insurance company sent an email and they said, no one was in the car. This is a rear end hit. Why are we doing this? Lines 2 through 11 are not needed.
And they didn't say not needed. They said needs to be deleted.
Right.
Or removed.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, so you're going to walk into dictating the repair.
This is really intricate and it's impressive on like how well coordinated we are together.
So I very easily just redirected the representative from the insurance company back to the Google Drive, where in the Google Drive that document was housed and the contents of that document. 20 minutes. Okay. Proceed.
Well, if you read the procedures, it's all straightforward, cut, dry, and clear.
Now that you read repair procedures and you see this, since January to now, would you ever buy a totaled car that's been repaired? And I said, why? And he goes, well, if it totals that easy, I don't want it. And I said, if it didn't collapse, where would that energy end up? And you could see the wheels turning where he was like, oh.
Literally every procedure I have read, as far as the inspections or any calibration that's required, it either says the vehicle has been in a collision or damaged from an incident, do this step.
Now my family was involved in this, we will never repair a car outside of the manufacturer's guidelines, period, end of story. Well, how long have we been doing these podcasts now?
This is month 2, number 4.
Number 4. And we finally came up with a name.
Yeah.
You want to?
This is the We Work For You podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we had ChatGPT and the group message. We had all kinds of names.
Yeah.
And none of them really clicked.
And I want to take a moment and talk about why we called it what we called it. Because the focus of what we get up here and discuss and everything we're doing downstairs and, our position within the industry, it's consumer focused.
100%.
So.
Yeah, we get a lot of interaction within the industry.
Yeah.
A lot of body shops. And we like that.
I love it.
But it's definitely not for the body shop.
No.
It's for consumers. And again, not to beat a dead horse and to repeat ourselves over and over and over, but at the end of the day, we believe that the industry is full of body shops that don't necessarily let you see all aspects of what happens to your car.
Right.
And so if this podcast and some of the videos and some of the stuff we talk about
will randomly end up on someone's feed.
Yeah. And make them, whether they're here, one of our customers in Wichita, Kansas, or
Florida.
Like
last night.
At the end of the day, we want people to at least have the opportunity to see what's really going on and what we call about, pulling the curtain back and letting you see what's happening.
Right.
So
it'd be cool to one of these days film it downstairs.
Oh, 100%. I think we've done that before, haven't we? Yeah. It's kind of a noise nightmare.
Right.
But, Taylor's...
So,
Taylor's really good.
You ever been to a gun range, like an indoor gun range?
Mm-hmm.
They have those headphones that you put on and you're able to communicate with, the people right next to you in the other bays, and it's, really clear. Maybe Taylor could get that.
There's a new barbecue spot that just popped up in one of the gun places.
Really?
Yeah, the Bullet Stop.
Okay.
They now have a barbecue joint. I'm going to have to go.
There you go.
Guns and barbecue.
It's the American dream.
So we have a special guest today.
A very special guest.
Why don't you introduce our special guest today?
Our special guest is none other than Mr. Mason. Welcome, Mason.
Good morning.
Mason, tell the folks watching what you do here at Best Body Shop.
I write the repair plans for each individual vehicle that comes into this shop according to manufacturer guidelines.
Love that.
So you're the repair plan writer.
Repair plan writer.
You're or what some I see people all the time. We're looking for estimators. I'm like,
So let's back up. I'm glad you brought that up. The model in which our shop is structured. We have a front office. We have a front office staff. We bring a customer in, we go through a consultation. We're proud of what we do, so we show off what we do. And all the time I'm introducing customers to our teammates downstairs. When we bring a car in, on the day it gets dropped off, it gets checked in, it gets put into the queue. When it comes in, it gets disassembled in the triage area. And the repair plan writing comes in, you come in right behind the disassembly technician. So you're writing the repair plan after the vehicle has been disassembled. And why is that so crucial versus writing it in a parking lot?
Just because you're able to actually get into the body itself and understand how far that energy has traveled in the vehicle. As far as if there's major frame damage, you can't see that on the exoskeleton of the vehicle. That shell is protecting everything on the outside. And as far as which we just witnessed downstairs with Roman, there's an adaptive cruise sensor that was damaged on the front of that Lincoln. So you're not able to see that on the outside of the vehicle. So there's major safety components also structure.
Yeah, out in the parking lot, that Lincoln looked like a bumper headlight job.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember the infamous Toyota that came in that I quoted outside. So, like, we don't write estimates.
Right.
But we'll give you an idea.
Yeah, we've got tons of experience.
Yeah.
And we utilize that. And a lot of times, customers, it's okay for a customer to care about OEM safe repairs, but also be somewhat... make their decision based off price, or they would like to know an idea of how much it's going to cost.
But we also give that quote unquote estimate or that thought process of, hey, here's what I'm thinking, with the very clear caveat, hey, this is outside looking in. Cars are designed to collapse, and there's sensors and calibrations, and to your point, procedures that you don't necessarily know until you pull. And so the infamous Toyota was the one that I went out, and it was a bumper job. Oh, that's a bumper job, $2,500, $3,000, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
$22,000 frame rail. I mean,
Wow.
we bring it in and measure it, and the frame rails collapsed. I mean, it did its job, you know. And the cool thing was that customer did not feel the collision in any way, shape, or form. Like he legitimately was like, I didn't feel anything. And I'm like, and I remember that the insurance actually totaled that car.
Okay.
And I remember asking him, what car are you going to get next? He goes, not a Toyota. And I said, why? And he goes, well, if it totals that easy, I don't want it. And I said, but if it didn't collapse, where would that energy end up? And you could see the wheels turning, where he was like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, it did its job. It stopped the energy from entering into what they call a safety cabin, entering into your body.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll look at Toyotas again. It's a good car. Toyota's great.
Yeah.
They're not Volvos, but
Mason owns a Toyota. I own a Toyota.
Do you own it? Really?
Yeah.
What
Highlander.
Okay.
I will say though, the safety features on a Toyota they're pretty intricate, and especially through like their guidelines, their procedures for an inspection. It's all very hands-on. Look at everything like to the point. Like make sure everything is perfectly fine.
So that brings up a good. I've got a question now. So we get this. I get this personal messages all the time or phone calls from other body shop owners or managers or whatever, and they are surprised at our hiring practices.
Okay.
How long have you been in the industry?
When was my hire date?
January.
Not that long.
Yeah, so you're fresh to the industry, but you are in charge of probably. Would you consider it probably the most crucial part?
Yes.
I mean, it's without the blueprint, it's hard to do your job, right?
Right.
And so coming from not working in the collision industry to now being right in the middle of it, being an orchestrator of a team, here's the plans of how we repair the car per the manufacturer. What are some of the things that surprise you?
Well, I mean, it was a lot to handle at first, but I mean, through the proper training from AJ and everyone else here, like it all clicked. It just made more sense every day. Like, I mean, I'm learning something new every day, but by the end of each day, I'm like, wow, this is really intricate and it's impressive on like how well coordinated we are together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not just myself, like the whole team is what keeps me accountable for my job.
Love that.
I think something you said really sticks out. At the end of the day, we work for our customers. We didn't wreck their car. We didn't design or engineer their car, but someone did. And all these companies spent hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, research and development, crash testing. We've all seen those old videos of two cars colliding, wind tunnel videos, all that, right?
Yeah.
There's a team of engineers behind that. Those engineers go in and write the repair procedures. Mason downloads and pulls those repair procedures per repair.
Yeah.
So we don't save it off the last Ford F-150 we worked on.
Right.
And you read what the engineers say to do. It's not rocket science.
It really isn't. And I will tell you, last night, I'm gonna pull one up. Last night I was going through, and I was hearing my phone ding from notifications on the body shop stuff, and there are some of these, and I want to get your opinion on some of these, because as the repair plan writer, let's see. Here, you guys keep talking. I've got to find this, because I think that you're gonna listen to it and be like, or I don't know if maybe you've already seen it, but.
So I've got something for you, Mason. You're reading engineering notes all day long on all these vehicles. You'll start to probably recognize patterns. What stands out as the most unique?
So like I said on the Toyotas earlier, like their inspections are like next level.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, as far as GM or Mopar, I believe Toyota is super extensive, but it all has a reason for that.
Right.
I believe it's probably just more because they're more computerized on their scale.
Okay.
But even then, you're still individually inspecting each sensor, bracket, monitor, RCM, airbag, just all those components for the vehicle.
So I've got one specifically I want to bring up, because I just had an interaction with not only the customer, but the customer's insurance company yesterday on a car down in the shop right now. The yellow Corvette, the required steering column inspection that General Motors has.
Yeah.
I actually made mention of that during the initial consultation, because we had the red Corvette right in the shop as well. And that day that the customer came out and I was going through everything with him, we were walking through the shop. He saw AJ removing that steering wheel to perform the steering column inspection.
Right.
He was like, what is he doing on that? And the crazy thing about the red Corvette and the yellow Corvette is they're nearly identical jobs.
Right.
Long story short, I went into an explanation of General Motors' position on steering column inspections and how it's very clear. It doesn't categorize the impact or the wreck. It just says when the vehicle's been in a collision, you have to do it, and here's how you do it.
Right.
And so flash forward, we have his car in the shop, got the repair plan written by you, got everything sent off. The insurance company sent an email, and they said, no one was in the car, and this is a rear end hit. Why are we doing this? Lines 2 through 11 are not needed.
I think I saw that email.
And so I immediately...
And they didn't say not needed. They said needs to be deleted.
Right.
Or removed.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, so you're going to walk into dictating the repair on how a car gets repaired.
So...
Whatever.
Aaron, the customer, actually came in to the shop like moments before, as I was typing up a reply. He needed to get something out of his car, and I was like, hey, did you see this email this morning that came through? He's like, yeah, I saw it. I was like, it's your insurance company. How do you want me to reply?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that's the one you were telling me about, right? It's in the Google Drive you supplied. My VIN number up at the top, General Motors saying it's needed.
Yeah.
He said, do what you will.
Yeah.
And so I very easily just redirected the representative from the insurance company back to the Google Drive, where in the Google Drive that document was housed and the contents of that document within 20 minutes. Okay, proceed.
Yeah. Here's one. And I think the guy that wrote this is actually a pretty decent guy. He said, problem is they have too many experts that can debate a procedure is recommendation or not an actual thing to do. How many wheels replacement were denied because it's repairable? Steering columns measured were denied. Steering rack replacement after suspension damage denied. How many post-collision inspections, ADOS, were denied? How many steps were denied in the repair because someone said the job's not needed? Manufacturers need to be clearer on what needs to be done after a collision happens because too many people are in. It's kind of misspelled here. Interpreting procedures differently, and it creates room for negotiation.
Well, if you read the procedures, it's all straightforward, cut, dry, and clear.
That's what it goes to what I said last week.
Yeah.
That I would be willing to put money that the majority of these people that have a problem just don't read the procedures. Because like he's saying, it's not clear.
It literally every procedure I have read, as far as the inspections or any calibration that's required, it either says the vehicle has been in a collision or damaged from an incident, do this step.
Yeah.
And there's even other manufacturers out there where they go, if it's a front end collision, do these steps. If
Yeah.
it's a side collision or rollover, do these. If it's been in a collision but no airbags deployed, do these.
Yeah.
It's straightforward, simple.
Yeah.
I have no degree in this at all. Like I fresh out of like every other job I've been in, it's actually really impressive and intricate. I've read blueprints before on things.
Yeah.
But as far as why these are needed, it says right here.
Yeah.
After collision.
And that's the reason why we hire outside of the industry, because people like this have probably, and this guy is probably a good guy,
Yeah.
but probably been in the industry for his entire life and has been bought into the BS of, well, the insurance won't pay and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, at the end of the day, if we continue as an industry, and I'm going to say not we, if the industry continues, because we don't deal with this stuff whatsoever, if the industry consistently and continues to dictate how to repair a car based on what the insurance says or won't pay for or whatever, then you're not repairing cars correctly. Period. End of story. And we got to stop sticking our head in the sand and acting like vehicles haven't changed significantly. This is like, I just talked to my dad yesterday, and I have to be careful because I'm passionate about this, right?
Right.
But he has a friend of his that bought a car, and we're just having our casual conversation, and he's like, yeah, they needed to buy a car for the family, a cheap car, and they found a guy that fixes up total losses, and I'm immediately like, oh no. But again, and he's like, it's a good it's a good budget for a kid's car, and da 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 da. My dad's a good guy.
Yeah.
If he only knew how bad, now that you read repair procedures and you see this, since January to now,
Mm-hmm.
would you ever buy a totaled car that's been repaired?
Probably not, no.
Yeah. The odds of those repair procedures being followed by someone putting a car back together. I'm not saying that it can't be done,
Right.
but are they really going to do the steering column inspection, the post-collision inspection? Are they going to replace the sensors correctly? Are they going to calibrate with OEM tools? Are they using OEM parts?
So I think one of the
And by the way, just to let you know, he's like, yeah, it kind of wobbles down the road a little bit. It was a front end collision, but it's all good. And I'm like, damn.
down the highway dog.
Which, by the way, the car is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to look at the front end.
Okay.
Just to make sure that nobody's life's at risk. But again, it's like, why do this? Why have the podcast? Why put ourselves out there, why take the insane amount of hate that we do, is because of people like that don't know any better, that don't understand that the car from 1980 is not the same car from 2020.
No.
And now we're not talking the decisions that used to be made 20 years ago, 30 years ago about repairing a car had a lot to do with making money and how fast the car can get repaired. The decisions being made today very well could involve somebody's life.
Yeah.
If a car has avoidance collision systems and you're not putting that car back together correctly, and it's not reading the road correctly and not reading cars correctly, and somebody is reliant on that vehicle operating the way it does or the way it's supposed to
make those notifications on your instrument cluster, your mirror, in split second. And we're talking thousandths of a second.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of a second in the event of a collision when it's communicating to your restraint system. And I think it's been a while since I've read some procedures, but they've even now got to the clarity of like what happens if you don't follow them, right?
They do.
Death may occur.
They do have a bunch of like warning labels throughout some of these procedures, especially newer Fords. There's been some that I've seen as far as like there's a big red triangle, giant exclamation mark, warning: if you proceed without doing this, such and such may happen.
Yeah. It's amazing how many times an insurance company will try to use a play on words. Like, oh, is it required or recommended?
It doesn't matter. It was written by an engineer
Yeah.
that designed the car. I didn't, and neither did you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Or I remember the argument I got in about the junkyard and recycled. Stop using the word junkyard. It's a recycled part. I'm like, where'd it come from? Junkyard. Why are you trying to? Let's call it what it is, dude.
right.
Like, again, why do they care about that stuff? Because we know better.
Yeah.
The collision industry knows better, or at least we hope they would. Consumers might not.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why words are important, because at the end of the day, if their game is not transparent, if they can't pull the curtains back and be fully exposed for what they're doing, then they have to use manipulative language, hoping that a person doesn't know any better and saves the insurance company a ton of money without knowing it.
Just like how insurance company estimates will abbreviate stuff.
Yeah.
LKQ A/M.
Yep.
You know, how many customers have I come across who are like, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means.
100%.
Mason, I had one for you. In the time that you've been writing repair plans, you've probably seen at least one or two of the same type of job. Whether, you know, how many Chevy bedsides have we done? How many F-150 rear end hits have we done, etc. Right?
Corvette quarter panels.
Corvette quarter panels. From start to now, give us some insight to how procedures change, because again, for those watching at home, we pull the repair procedure every car. We believe in that 100%. Even if we've, like I said earlier, we've done a Chevy bedside, we're not saving that, you know, from the first time and then re-referencing it, because engineers will go back in and change. You know, the famous F-150 aluminum bedside. How many times in a single year did it change on
like,
how to weld or rivet it on?
Yeah.
So
Like 4 times.
yeah, have you seen some of that?
Yes, actually. I'll even reference Honda for this. Initially, they just had the procedure for, say, front bumper removal. Okay, here, remove such and such, push clips, you're done with the job. Nowadays, I've seen where, okay, you have an adaptive cruise system in the front bumper. You also have blind spot radars in the front system, and then you have impact sensors. After the procedure where you're removing all that, it goes into, since you remove those, they now need calibrated. Here's a calibration procedure. Go ahead and touch this. And then I think Dodge is also another one, which we've kind of had some, say, conflict in the past with Dodge, just because they are real more DTC based.
Okay.
So it's anything like that, it's, you know, scanning it, making sure everything's perfectly fine. So they have, I think, parking sensors in the rear bumper, but there's also been instances where it's yeah, you remove them, but if this happened, then you perform a calibration. Not do it.
Explain, just so anybody watching, key difference between a repair procedure and a position statement. Because they both have an important role, right?
The position statements? Mm-hmm. My thought process on position statements is that they're kind of like the overarching position, but not necessarily specific.
Okay.
So like they'll say no aftermarket parts on Toyotas from this year to this year.
Right.
But then if you pull the procedures and you do a repair on, or if you do a procedure on a particular area you're working on, front bumper, door, whatever, it'll actually repeat that specifically for that car though. In certain manufacturers, depending on where you're finding that in the procedure. But the overarching is like like I had a lady that came in a while back that she had her car repaired at another shop, and she came in and she was like, bumper keeps popping out, something's not right, you know, and the my avoidance collision system keeps going off, and it was doing some really like funky stuff. And she handed me the estimate from the other body shop, and it clearly stated aftermarket parts. And so the position statement, I was able to just go and print off overarching for that vehicle. Mm-hmm. I said, well, this is the position that this manufacturer has stated about the part usage on that car in that year and that make and model. And so she was like, why, does that other body shop know that this exists? I'm like, I mean, I can't speak for them, but I wouldn't call myself an expert if I didn't know that existed, you know? And she goes, so why? And it was like, you could see the green, like you could see the lights starting to turn on. Mm-hmm. She was like, so why did they use the aftermarket bumper? I'm like, now you're starting to ask the right questions. You know, probably, you know, that particular body shop is in contract with an insurance company. I said, and they probably offered you a pretty hassle-free repair. Get in, get out. Oh, yeah, it was done fast. I'm like, yeah. But now you have a car that's not operating correctly.
Right.
And potentially unsafe because, you know, if it's slamming on the brakes because it thinks it sees something in the road because the bumper's, you know, not the right bumper.
Not sitting the right way.
Yeah, I mean, it was a trash repair in the first place. There was no pride whatsoever, which I mean, as a technician, it's like, how do you have pride in something when you're cutting corners, right? Like, shame on the technician for being at that shop in the first place, but I have empathy for the fact that he got handed a sheet and said, hey, repair this car. It's like, what the hell? You know?
Yeah.
It kind of just boggles my mind. Like, you're doing these repairs on a vehicle for as cheap as possible, the quickest way possible, but do you understand that you're possibly putting that person's vehicle into a scenario or you're possibly putting that customer into a death sentence?
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of insane to me. Like, I'm a big family man, and seeing how things are done here, my hope in humanity is restored.
Yeah.
It's like I see the perfect nature of we all come together, we're making sure this customer and their family's safe. And let alone how many times have we seen, you know, customer mapping sheets where, oh yeah, it was myself and then my two kids, or it was just myself, or my car was full.
Right.
And they were in that collision.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It boggles my mind that that's even an option. But again, I think the naivety of consumers, and rightfully so, I don't know anything about brain surgery. I would have to use an expert, you know, in that area.
Right.
And somebody could deceive me very easily in the brain surgery area. In the collision repair world, and I used to say this during my consultations, because people would come in, they're like, oh, I didn't know any of this existed. I was like, well, people don't wake up on a Saturday and go, hey, I might get into a wreck someday. Let's go learn about collision repair. No, you just live your life until you get into a wreck, and then all of a sudden you're bombarded with insurance companies going, oh, we'll do it. Oh, here's an app and do this and go this. And the body shops, oh, we'll take care of everything. And it's like super smooth. And you're like, man, this is okay. This isn't that bad.
So there's probably some data behind
And we're actually the ones that are just the opposite.
Right.
We put sticks like, nope. Like people all the time call and go, well, I'm just going to drop my car off. No, you have to go through a consultation first. And I get that is friction,
Yeah.
but it's needed friction because if you don't know what the important parts of the collision, the stuff that we're about to explain or stuff that you go through the consultation with, then when things get hairy, and they almost always do, when an insurance company gets involved, then all of a sudden you're going to be wondering, who do I trust now when my car's disassembled? No. Let's make sure that's cemented down before we get in the middle of a surgery.
Right. I'm sure there's data out there, but just looking back at my own life and my immediate family, there's probably some exclusions, but people don't get in wrecks a lot, right? I'd say at least an overwhelming majority maybe get in 2 or 3 in their lifetime.
I think in the state of Kansas, and I could be wrong here, somebody's going to watch this and get the data. The last conference that I went to, I think the state of Kansas, like you get in a wreck every 9 years. The average consumer gets into a wreck every like 9 to 12 years or something like that.
So for the average consumer, when this happens, A, it's probably pretty traumatic. B, it's just affected, depending on their situation, the first, if not second largest asset to their name, right? Second being to their home. And so,
and it's emotional.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We had our refrigerator go down, and I remember like, I don't have time for this, and I don't drive my refrigerator.
Right.
Right? Like you go out to eat, you can go get food, but when your car's all of a sudden you have plans, everybody's busy, all of a sudden you don't have a car. Now it's like, it's emotional, it's traumatic, it's
So that's the range that on the daily we're dealing with, but it's so awesome to see all of that kind of melt away when we go through, we explain, we introduce, we show, just like, man, I really feel like...
Well, it's what my dad said.
Yeah.
Dad came in and I don't, that
The Jeep downstairs.
Yeah.
So he actually came in and went through the process. I didn't even know he was here.
Yeah.
He just showed up. And he called me afterwards. He goes, "Man, Clay, you got something special going on there." He goes, "I'm not just saying that. Like I get that I probably got a little special treatment." He goes, "But I feel so comfortable leaving the car." He goes, "When I talk to Quinton and AJ, they're passionate about what they do. They answered all the questions I had, and he said at a certain point, I just knew I can trust these guys, and I can walk away."
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Saying, and going back to a phone call here, I did send it to you. It was a while ago. I was updating a customer on the status of her vehicle. Total loss. She was with her grandkids at her house, and as I was on the phone with her, she was just like, I could hear her like choking back her words. Like she was just so upset with the state of her vehicle. But with the reassurance from Quinton here, they got everything settled, got her straightened out. So, there's been multiple phone calls where it's like, it's difficult to tell the customer like, hey, your car is not in good shape.
Yeah.
And then there's another instance, I was going to say this earlier, where in the disassembly process of a vehicle, rear bumper incident, the impact bar was an aftermarket bar. Customer didn't know that. Do you remember that one?
Black Subaru.
It was actually like half the size of the initial one that's supposed to be in there.
Yeah, the aftermarket, the aftermarket impact bar.
It was like this. It was tiny.
Wow.
Like, so there you have a critical safety component. The manufactured one is, this, and the aftermarket one is like, it left their whole corner, their rear body pan, taillight pocket, just
Completely wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the part that I don't understand, and I don't expect anybody to understand at this table, is that I don't understand energy transfer beyond what I've read. And like, as an engineer that knows that, as someone that designed that car and made that part to bolt directly to the frame rail, somehow in the midst of maybe a 10 mile an hour collision is not that big of a deal, maybe 20, but if that person got into a 60 mile an hour collision, and you and I both have seen, I think the three of us have all seen people walk away from those collisions, there's something that has to be said that's far beyond any of our expertise at this table.
Right.
I mean, it's like, I don't understand it, but I'm sure that impact bar had something to do with it. My wife and kids were in a collision that was a 70 mile an hour collision. We repaired that car before that collision. And the insurance, State Farm, I will say that, State Farm, wanted us to cut corners on that repair. And we later had to use an attorney. We had to sue the insurance company. And there was a settlement. And I can't say what the settlement was, but we're happy. You know, at the end of the day, like, we're good.
That just goes to show
But
you
the point is, if we didn't repair that car in line with the manufacturer's guidelines, with Volvo's instructions, and instead followed State Farm, just like all the people on social media, well, whatever the insurance says, we're doing it. I still sit here to this day wondering if that 70 mile an hour collision, where I got to see energy afterwards, when the car got towed here, you could physically see the energy traveling away and around the occupants, where all my three kids were in the cars, my wife was in the car, all the airbags went off, throw them into a ditch. We're talking about like the worst of the worst kind of wrecks you can ever think of. And I still look at it going, what if we didn't use the glue that Volvo told us to, or the calibration that Volvo told us to do that State Farm said not to do? What if we didn't follow the process that Volvo told us to in disassembly, reassembly, and using one-time use parts and replacing them, and we followed State Farm instead? Would my family, now they all walked out good. I mean, they all had bumps and scratches and bruises. I mean, it was a hard hit, but
yeah,
what would have happened?
Well, fortunately, we don't know.
Yeah.
And
none of our customers will ever know.
No.
Because when that happened that day, it went from book knowledge, read the procedures, follow them, to emotional.
Yeah.
Now it went, oh, my family was involved in this. And I remember immediately after that going to my team going, I know that we've already said this, but I'm going to re-say it. We will never repair a car outside of the manufacturer's guidelines, period, end of story. Never. I don't care. I don't care if it's a brother, a sister, or a friend. Hey, can we just get the car in and out real quick? No. If we're not following the manufacturer's guidelines, we're not repairing the car, period, end of story.
Yeah. Mason, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're the man, dude.
No, you're the man.